The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He sliced through. He tags Richard Eck.
Here is where the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sandobi hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Pilecki goes, dives on the right side. Very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys. Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Pilecki. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. Well, now it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the lap car and around Mills at the same time. At the same time. He's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Vita Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will cook the grass. Oh, a 180, no, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
And welcome to California wine country. It's been known by a few names over the years like Sears Point and Infineon, but one name always stuck around despite that. We're at Sonoma Raceway for round 7 of the Classic Team Championship Lotus 79. There's some official series racing here today. Whether you are watching on iRacing Live or on YouTube, thanks for joining us for today's race. Hello race fans and welcome to GSRC. I'm Adam Young and with me tonight, who seems like my partner in crime a lot here lately, Sean Ambrose, flipping the switches and keeping us looking and sounding good, Joe Peak behind the scenes, and he'll be using cameras provided by the talented Dougie Beard. Sonoma is a totally different track than Interlagos, where we were at for round 6. Nunya Moriarty was able to run away with it. But now, on the full configuration of Sonoma Raceway, he's going to have to open up that throttle a little bit more in a few places. Sean, Sonoma is a place that has a lot of history in American road racing. What will these high downforce classic Lotus 79s be taming today?
Nestled in the Sonoma Mountains near a geographic formation known as Sears Point, Sonoma Raceway is one of the top-ranked American motorsports facilities. Adam, most road racing classes that compete at Sonoma use this full 2.52-mile, 12-turn circuit we'll be racing on today. This track has a natural flow to it, and the Lotus 79 will exceed expectations at this course today. Now, overtaking opportunities, your really good ones are going to be through turns 4 up through 6, down in the end there, turn 7 and 7A, 10, turn 10 through the hairpin in 11th, up to the start-finish line. You're going to see a lot of passes attempted and made, some failed. This track does have a fair amount of undulation, and getting up through turns 2 and through turns 3 through 5 and 6 will present the biggest challenges today, Adam, but we're going to hop on board with Juha Norlampi in the Lotus 79. I got so rattled on that, guys. I'm sorry. We're going to go do a lap around the track now.
All right, we've got Juha Norlampi in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Sonoma. Turn 1 is a flat-out blast uphill leading directly into 2. Hug the left side and try your best not to let the crest pull you away from the apex. Getting the power down here is going to be a real test of who's got the best feel for the throttle. You don't have much time before you hit the back and forth of turn 3. The car compresses, and then once again the rise will make the car light. Seeing drivers spin there probably won't be uncommon. Heavy braking into 4 means sometimes sneak attacks are possible, but I wouldn't bank on it. Keep your foot in around the sweeper of 5, and then hold the car off to the right for the entry to the carousel. This difficult diving turn will require both patience and getting to the power as early as possible to get the most out of it. That's because it dumps you onto the backstretch, which in this layout will fork off to the left. Tuck it right up to the wall, and then the braking for 7 is where you can expect to see most of the drivers attempt an overtake. The hard part is nailing the double apex line around the squared off hairpin. That leads us into the S's, and in the Lotus it's mostly flat out with a big lift going through 8. Expect this to be a single file section of track, and unless someone makes a huge error, passes are unlikely. What's incredible is coming through the fearsome turn 10, you're still not lifting. If drivers can withstand the dirty air, they'll be rewarded with a chance to pass into the hairpin of 11. But there's absolutely zero runoff with it being a simple tire wall around the outside. Missing your brake marker can spell disaster. Square off this last corner exit, straighten out the kinks on your run to the line, and you've now finished a lap around Sonoma.
And of course, that was a very, very quick lap around Sonoma Raceway here today, where this tight and twisting course will put on a challenge for these Lotus 79 drivers. And of course, one of my favorite parts about it is that the fact that it uses that drag strip out there. But hey, let's talk a little bit about the race today and what we're going to be expecting. Of course, we're looking at round 7 of the Classic Teams Championship here. They've got about 4 races after today, and of course next week we'll be at Laguna Seca. As we've been mentioning, this is the Lotus 79. These are open setup vehicles. Now there's going to be no stop for fuel with that, with only 32 laps in this race, so look for those laps to actually click off pretty quick here today. Cautions as normal in road racing and official series road racing on iRacing. There will only be local yellows, and there is that 17 incident cap, and you get disqualified from the session. There are no fast repairs. The points are handled by iRacing official tallies, and Sean's going to have that here in just a moment. But the weather here today is looking about 78 degrees, sunny sky, well, mostly cloudy skies. That's going to bring the track temperature up to about 87. But here's the kicker today, Sean. Those winds are out of the west at about 14 miles an hour. That might push around some of these cars out there a little bit. Why don't you go tell us your thoughts on that as well as take a look at some points.
Let's do it. Let's look at the CTC driver points here, the Formula One Championship. As you see it on screen, Nuno Moreira moves up into first place, not by much, got a slight edge over Journo Frisch, who drops down to second. Now Matt Wood, the biggest mover in our standings, comes up to third, leading Jared Hoffer right there in fourth. No change there, but Alex Saunders taking the big drop here last week, down to 5th in the points right now. So lots of movement here in the top 5. Exciting stretch run to go here for the rest of the season. Now let's talk about the Aurora points, okay? The CTC Aurora team driver standings here, and you're going to see Yunus Puhaka sitting there at the top. His average now through the 6 rounds, 192. Kale Ruakola with 170 points, followed very closely with Tapani Lenanuto with 169, just a point separating them. Andrea Ventura and Nathan Franklin sit there 4th and 5th in the average. Now, let's look at the championship constructors standings. These are the teams. A lot of fighting going on here among the top. A lot of changes here over the last week, but Leger Gitans sits there at the top in first. Renault up to second. Ferrari taking a little bit of a drop down to third. McLaren making that move up to fourth, dropping Team Rabach down to fifth. And Adam, that is the points as we stand here going in round 7 at Sonoma.
Yeah, and we're going to be looking for a pretty tight qualifying session here, is just as well as Lowe's points here. Going to be pretty tight, probably going to be pretty tight still at the end of this race. Of course, do have some names that aren't here, and that'll be something that we'll talk about as the day goes along. While we have a quick moment, I know I don't think he shows up in the top split here on what it would be late Sunday mornings in the U.S., but he does drive the Lotus 79 quite a bit. I'm sure some of these drivers know him, but we do want to say get well soon to Tony Lamberti, Texas driver who is dealing with some health issues, and hopefully we are able to see him out on track here soon. So get well, Tony. We're all pulling for you. But we're already starting to see some qualifying times come in early on. We're looking at Matt Wood here running in second in that Marlboro machine. Right now, best lap at about 1:19. Now, that is actually about 0.7 of a second behind Antibes Lapitio. That is 1:18.9. Now that's a pretty quick lap around Sonoma. Now these guys are out there. There is 2 laps of qualifying here, and it is all by your lonesome. You're all by yourself, and those 2 laps can go by pretty quick. So Sean, seeing lap times right about where I thought we might.
Okay, so there was an official race just an hour before this one, or I'm sorry, a couple hours ago. The race leading up to this one saw the dominance of the Finns. Notable absence from this race is Kalle Ruokola, not here. Our third place finisher in that race. Lepisto currently on top of the board. Lepisto finished second. It was Juha Noralampi with the big win there in that race. And I'm going to be honest with you, if you're going to get one of those qualifying positions up front here, Adam, Noralampi just moved up to second. He started on the pole in the last race. If he could get another quick lap here, still has one to go, put himself back on the pole, I certainly like the chances for the Finns to move ahead. Now, we're getting an update here that Ruokola just connected, possibly, Adam? Okay, maybe not. I don't know. I must have missed that. Yeah, jumping in and watching the race. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I was just getting ready to say I ended up hitting the wrong button there. We'll have to see if he jumps in the car, but it doesn't look like he is. He's just going to be watching here today from the sidelines. Unfortunately, not out there driving. But it's interesting that you bring up the Finns. Of course, if you know anything about iRacing and the clubs and all that, you know just how dominant the Finns are. So, of course, exactly what you would expect to be able to run a series like this and have some Finn domination in it. Now, of course, we got Antti up front now. Juha Noralampi actually just now taking the top spot.
I had a feeling that might happen. Juha had a little bit left in the foot there for that last flying lap, and that is going to slate him up to the pole with his buddy Antti Lepisto there rounding out that front row. So that's going to be a great start. We'll certainly need to keep an eye on those two to try and run away from the field. Now, Nuno Moreira is right there in third, and that will be an interesting start up the hill there as we head into turn 1 and up to 2.
It definitely will. I mean, it is just about any kind of cars that race here. It ends up getting pretty tight when you get up there into 2 with that right-hander. Things have a tendency to narrow up in a hurry, and especially with these wide open wheel cars, that'll be a point of contention whenever we do get to that point. Now, just about everybody has at least laid down a time here so far. What I'm seeing is right now it looks like amongst your top 10, we're only seeing about 1.5 seconds of difference as far as speed. So that could lead to a pretty tight race here. Of course, we're only going to be running 32 laps once we take the green flag here in just a little bit. They've got about a minute left in qualifying. Just a handful of cars still left out there on track. And we'll have to see where everybody ends up shaking out. But right now, you've got your eyes on John Stevens, whose best lap is just south of 1:20, and he just finished his second qualifying lap. He'll end up on the grid in 7th. Okay, so with that, everybody has now finished qualifying. We can go ahead and take a look at the grid here for today. We're looking at, we just saw it a minute ago, Juha Noralampe coming in on P1 on the inside of row 1, and Lapizzo coming in the outside of row 1 in second. Sean?
Okay, row 2, going to be comprised of Nuno Moreira and Matt Wood.
In row 3, Philip Lake and Nicola Kochi coming in 6.
All right. Row 4, John Stevens, QC Clapp in 8th.
We're looking at Jamie Hall in 9th and Stan Svensson in 10th.
All right, and here we go. 11th, going to be Alex Millward, Peter Konechny, 12th, Pablo Suarez, 13th, Joaquim Boddicker, 14th, Olivier Turcotte, 15th, Mark Muckey, 16th, Timothy Dalton, 17th, Robert Simpkins, 18th, Steve Sarlis, 19th, Matt Molnar, 20th. Let's keep moving here. Martin Leager going to be 21st, 22nd, Francisco Javier Gutierrez, Barry Weston, 23rd, Matt Carbullo in 24th, 25th going to be Francois Demers, Hideki Koivisto, 26th, Angelica Pawlowski, 27th, and Nick Kamensky, not having a qualifying time today, is going to round out your 28-car field. Adam, here we go.
Yeah, so we get the green flag here in just a minute. Yeah, as we were talking about, the first problem point on the course is going to be that turn 2. You're going to come up a hill, and you're immediately going to have to start thinking about turning right, and that's a point where, in a lot of cars, where drivers sometimes run into trouble. We're still waiting on everybody to grid here. The drivers do, I believe, have 2 minutes to be able to grid their cars. We're starting to see some of your front runners. I believe that is Joha on the front row there, who just took the grid. We're just waiting for everybody else to filter in. Sean, other than turn 2, where's going to be a problem point here on the first lap?
Oh, okay.
Okay, actually, lights are off. We're getting ready to go green here. We'll get to that here in just a second. And there we are. Green flag is out here at Sonoma. These guys are away. They're off. Heading up turn 1. They're flying up the hill and looking to see if we end up running into any problems in turn 2. We do got a red and white car off there. I don't see who that is. That might be Wood. I have to go back and take a look at that here in just a second.
It is.
Joha is up there. He is taking it, going up there. They are single file from about him going all the way back to 10th. It looks like that might have been the only turn 2 casualty that I saw, but outside of that, everybody now single file. We'll have to see if Joha is able to try to run away with this, but he does have Ante back there who's going to be trying to stay in his draft, and back behind him is Nuno, and then Philip Lake taking a look on Nuno here. This is another passing point that they're coming up on here, Sean.
All right, and that was Matt Wood that got off in the opening lap. Suffers a little bit of wing damage, but he's still under power. Great battle going on here throughout the field as we get started. Lots of cars dashing and diving here through the S's, getting into the back section of the course, carrying a lot of speed here as you head through turn 10 down to the hairpin. Full throttle.
Yeah, these guys, so far, it's looking at Jamie Hall there, trying to make a move. I think that's on Alex Millward, and QC is going to try to stick his nose in there as well. They head to the start-finish line. Turn 1 here. Turn 1's a left-hander. Turn 1's usually not that big of a problem. The problem is that you come up onto this right-hander here, and sometimes you get a little off-camber, and that can be what maybe throws you possibly a little bit loose. So that's probably part of the problem of attacking that turn 2 and then immediately flying back down the hill. Eventually, as we're looking at, I believe that's Alex Millward that we're focusing on right now, as he comes along here, he's going to end up taking this left-hander, and then they actually end up going onto the drag strip here in just a second. That is a part of the Sonoma Raceway complex, and that kind of ends up being what that is a little bit, because even though you bend to the left there just a touch, you're full throttle as you start heading into this tight two-corner complex that just ends up being a really another one of those really good passing spots.
Yeah, and you know what? The leaders, Juha Norlampi and Antti Lepisto, kind of up to their same tricks from the last race. They have already extended themselves. Juha a second and a half ahead of Antti. Antti ditched the rest of the field behind him, about 2 seconds back.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that lap 1 incident there involving Wood, and this is kind of where his day started going south right now. Or actually, we're going to go ahead and just take a look right back at that start. We'll focus here on Matt Wood, of course. Matt Wood from the UK&I Club, and sporting that red and white machine. As they take the green here, he actually ends up having a pretty good start. Able to come away solidly in third, but as they go up through turn 1 and into turn 2, it looks like that blue and white car that was on the inside of him, I'm sorry, I think that might be your third place runner Nuno, and I think it just kind of ended up pushing Matt Wood just a little bit wide and into the grass. So unfortunately that has knocked Matt Wood from third going all the way back to 24th. You see the damage there on the front end of his car, and he's going to have his work cut out for him to try to gain a few more positions here today.
Adam, great battling down here in coming through the hairpin on the end of the track here, turn 7 and 7A. Cars line astern making their way through the S's here. Such a challenge to keep the car at S's. Barry West right now sitting in 20th, battling with Robert Simpkins. And then there's a tight battle behind him with Angelica Pawlowski and Francois Gutierrez and Steve Sarlis there, too. And boy, what a stack up here in the hairpin as they make their way up to the start-finish line.
Yeah, looking here at John Stevens, Nicola, and Jamie Hall also going at it through 5th, 6th, and 7th positions. A little bit of swapping going on there, but that looks like that might have sorted itself out. So let's see here. We're also taking a hard look. I think somebody was mentioning there's another battle going on here. We're looking at Kaninsky and Mark Muckey here again, also running nose to tail, but Mark Muckey in that Lotus just trying to find every which way he can, I think, right now to get around Kaninsky.
Well, Stian Svensson was in a battle and then got off course and had to take the tow, essentially ending his race, unfortunately, without any required pit stops and no pit window to work with. That's going to be damaging to any chance to pick up good points today. But listen, they'll be back for the next race, I'm sure. Lots of good action here still on track. Suarez having a battle right now.
Yeah, and you saw there with Konexi right there on the right on his rear wing. Pablo Suarez kind of swung a little bit wide there and actually clipped one of the pit lane cones. You might have saw that flying, but now he's got his hands full right now. Peter Konexi.
Yeah, Peter having a good drive right now. He is really in follow mode, staying right in the tracks here. Pablo, and you know what? I think he's trying to set him up for a pass. Gonna have to look over his shoulder at Mark Muckey, though. Muckey's shown good speed, starting to figure out this Lotus 79 just a bit.
Ooh, we got Matt Wood. It looks like he might be around again here.
Oh, yes. Yeah, trouble for Matt Wood, Adam, definitely.
Yeah, I think just looking at it, I think he just got a corner hop there and ended up looping the car around. Looking at him trying to get back straight, I don't think he ended up hitting anything, but day kind of goes from bad to worse so far here for Matt Wood.
Yeah, and the car of Francois Javier Gutierrez is so lucky to get by right there. Almost makes contact, but good job, and Matt Wood is going to drive on and keep on going.
Hearing reports that Pablo Suarez, might have had a spin just a second ago, and it does look like he has, in fact, dropped a few positions here. Come back and take a look at that.
All right, I got to give you an update on Nuno Moreira. Nuno is really picking things up. Nuno just set the fastest lap of the race last time around. He is starting to pick up a little bit of time now on his challengers ahead, Antti Lepisto and Juha Norlampi. With plenty of time left, you know what? Nuno can get this done. He is one of the fastest drivers here. Didn't show it in qualifying, but certainly making a good run at him now.
Yeah, we'd like to go ahead. Actually, Joe, if we can go back and take a look, the last time through turn 7 with Peter Konixi and Pablo Suarez, they were battling for 10th position. There ended up being contact between the two of them here. Oh, okay. Okay. So actually looking at something that happened here right behind him, actually.
It's Barry West getting off the course, coming down the hill, and misses the braking zone, and he just wraps it there at the end. You see the damage on the left front wing. And that's going to drop Barry all the way down through the field.
So unfortunately for Barry West, you're right, that does drop him quite a bit back. Now back there with Matt Carballo, who Matt started, I believe, 27th on the field to start the race here. So, or excuse me, 24th on the field to start the race. So he definitely dropped back quite a bit. So we are looking looking for some battles out there right now. Looking at 6th position, Nicolo Cocci is out there. He's got Jamie Hall, John Stevens and Nicolo Cocci back there. They're separated only by about 0.6 of a second as they start heading down into turn 7 here. Turn 7 is one of those tight corners. You know, and so it can sometimes be a decent passing area as well. Right now,
trouble on track. Martin Leisure has trouble. He was off a moment ago and then had more trouble in turn 6, trying to get through that carousel downhill. Collected the car of Angelica Pawlowski, who just took the tow. Ooh, that was a big incident coming down the hill. And like I said, trying to get through the carousel here. Here we go on screen. There's Liger there in the Haviland Lotus. It's down the hill. It spins. Comes back up the hill. Now he's going to get the car righted around and get back on track, and going to get back in trouble coming back after turn 4 and making his way up through turn 6, and that's when we're going to get into Pawlowski here. There's Pawlowski to the outside, and Liger's going to lose it right here down the hill. The car is going to spin around.
It looks like that might have been a reaction to another car that had a problem. Oh, who is that? That ended up being a hard contact there with that yellow car that was with him.
Yeah, that was Pawlowski that got into that with him and ending Pawlowski's day. So big trouble for Liger there on track.
Okay, so now we're back up front here with Juha Norlampi running 119s right now. A lot of the other people are running in the 120s, 121s, but Juha and Antti just pretty much trying to run away with this thing over everybody else right now. You actually have to go about 4 seconds back behind Juha here to find Nuno running right now P3, and then you have to go back another 6 seconds almost to find Philip Lake right now running in 4th. So your top half of the field definitely starting to spread out here quite a bit, Sean.
Yeah, and they did that in the last race, and what's going to be interesting to watch is as they come back through traffic. That's going to be the real challenge here at Sonoma, is the trip back through the traffic, which it won't be long before Juha Norlampi finds the back of the field, which right now looks to be Matt Caraballo, the last car on the lead lap, with everybody else in the pit right now and behind the wall. You see Matt Wood there on screen. Still a little bit of still trying to recover.
Yeah, he ended up having to go out into the area, coming off turn 10, ended up getting loose just a minute ago, and they ended up having to run off into that area that they used to call Gilligan's Island. Way back the Cup Series for a few years, they didn't have enough spots in pit road, and they'd actually have to pit cars out there in that kind of no man's land area, but Matt Wood is able to get that car pointed back straight. So now on your screen, you got a battle here between Steve Sarles and Francisco Gutierrez. They are only about 0.4 of a second apart. You see Gutierrez trying to take a look at the outside here. Steve Sarles kind of runs a little bit of a different line through there, allows Francisco to catch back up to his rear wing. Now going through the S's, and Francisco still gaining on him just a touch.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like he has quite enough yet to make the move, but they're getting ready to hit one of the best passing points on this racetrack.
Well, you definitely got to be brave going through 10 there at full speed. Here in the hairpin is your chance, and it doesn't look like Gutierrez has anything for him on this lap. Sarles makes a great trip through there and gets back across the line, safe in 18th, heading up the hill.
Yeah, of course, Steve Sarles, the only driver in the field representing the Texas club here today, and he's having to hold off Francisco as that gap kind of widens back up just a little bit. So looking at Nuno Moriarty here, he's starting to gain just a little bit on Ante, and I think just as soon as we said that, I think he lost maybe a couple of tenths of a second. But I do think that that Nuno's starting to, you mentioned a few minutes ago that he was getting fast. Nuno is starting to just wheel in Ante here just ever so slightly.
Well, in the pre-race, I talked about this track having a natural flow to it. So with natural flow, you want to have a good rhythm, okay? We saw Matt Wood have trouble before, and then he had trouble again. It's hard to get back into that rhythm. Nuno's feeling it right now. He's in that rhythm. He's picking up time on Ante Lepisto. It's not going to be long before these two are battling wheel to wheel for that second position. Now, catching Nora Lampe, that's going to be a little bit more of a task, as Nora Lampe's still showing excellent pace, and that gap of 4 seconds is definitely going to be tough to pick up. Jamie Hall and Alex Millward, though, in a really good battle right now.
Yeah, we'll go back and take a look at that. Those guys only separated by about 0.5 of a second here as that gap actually kind of closes down just a little bit, going through 6 and onto the drag strip here. They'll hopefully, Alex is just trying to stay in Jamie's draft. These Lotus 79s do put off a pretty good draft. You're able to stay in it. You're able to hang with some people on the faster portions of this racetrack. As they go through 7 and then down in through the S's into 8, and eventually they'll find themselves into 9 and 10 here. Now we switch over to Steve Sarles, where that gap between him and Matt opened up. Did something happen there?
Yeah, Sarles a little bit of trouble on track. We're going to pick it up on the replay here. And again, it's always getting up the hill. That's the proposition that's tough to handle. It gets a little wide and right in front.
I think that would have been who he might have been battling with a minute ago. I think that was Francisco Gutierrez that he was battling with that ended up just missing him.
It was Francisco Gutierrez. Going to go on board with him now, Adam. Riding in his wake, and you're going to see that trouble erupt. Steve Sarles going to have a bit of a spin, and Francisco Gutierrez with the best seat in the house.
Had to be on the brakes hard there in order to miss that car. Good heads-up driving there by Francisco Gutierrez to be able to miss the spinning car there of Steve Sarles. We're hearing another report that Matt Wood might be around again here.
Yeah, down in the hairpin, he had a little bit of trouble, spun the car, and again, Matt having trouble getting that rhythm back. It started early, and it's continuing for him.
Yeah, a little bit of contact there, looked like with Francois Demars that precipitated that, and unfortunately Matt Wood ended up pointing around the other direction once again. So back up front, Yoha here Nora Lampe has been able to extend that gap on Ante by about 3 seconds now, about 3 seconds even on that last time around. And Nuno it looks like Nuno's almost within a second between him and Ante here, so once again just wheeling him in just a little bit at a time, and eventually he'll be able to get back up there on his rear wing. But that definitely is one place that we'll be watching here over the course of the next couple laps, just how much more ground he can gain here.
Adam, the top 3 have now passed Matt Carabello. They've gotten around to him. They have opened up a 15-second lead on 4th place, Philip Lake. The top 3 have checked out on everybody else. This is their battle Nuno Moreira still turning fast laps, but our leader, Juha Norlampi, the fastest man on track, just turned the best lap of the race, a 19.337.
Hearing something might have happened to Nicola Kochi. We're going to go back to see about what's going on with him here.
I think maybe he just made a slight error. We're going to see here on screen, following Kochi, down the hill through 6, onto that drag strip.
Of course.
And could be in this double apexer here. Oh, might have been a little bit too much curb there, but it looks like it's getting up through the S's here where he has a little bit of a problem.
Well, we'll see. This is probably one of the more technical portions of this course, and we'll have to see. I don't think we ended up. I think we ended up missing the error there. So but either way, at least got to see Nicola run around there the back half of the course there for a little bit. Kind of gives you an idea of just how fast you can turn laps here over the course of the Sonoma Raceway. So these guys right now, and Nicola, of course, is about almost 29 seconds off your leaders already, running in 8th position. We're right now looking at about 19 laps to go, not quite to halfway just yet, but already starting to see the race just kind of you're already figuring out what kind of mode we're going to be in here today with Antti now. The next battle, of course, we'll probably be watching. We've been ringing it up a couple of times now. It'll be between him and Nuno here just before too long, heading up into turn 2. Now focusing here on Mark Mucky. Mark is about a half second back behind Peter Kaniski, and these guys have another one of those combinations that have just been kind of reeling them in here just a little bit. It's a good look on the inside of 11 there, but Peter ended up having the momentum coming off the corner. Sean, that's one thing about turn 11 is you really have to have that line coming off as being one of the slower corners on the racetrack. If you don't have that line coming off, you're going to lose a lot of momentum going down the front stretch.
Yeah, you do. I mean, it's so important. I like to keep it right down near the tires there, keep it tight, and try and get as straight a line on the exit there as possible so you can get out of there clean and make that screaming last effort towards the start-finish line.
Okay, so let's go ahead. We're getting ever closer to halfway here. Not quite there just yet, but let's work through the top 10 real quick. Make sure we get everybody here. Of course, he started in first. He's brought it in first, and he's got actually lost a little bit of time to Antti here this last lap, but he has dominated the race here so far. That is your Finland driver, Norlampi. Going back to second, you'll find Antti. He's running now about 2.8 seconds back behind Norlampi, and he is now we're starting to see the dynamic change a little bit, but still quite a ways back. But he's been running in second place the entire day so far. Now that might change here in a little bit. Nuno just ran the fastest lap of the race once again, down to a 19.16. That is lightning quick, folks. He has still got 1.3 seconds to catch Antti, but little by little that time gap is disappearing. So before that disappears, work through the rest of them. Phil Blake, he started in 5th, actually up one position from where he started. I think some of that had to do with some of the troubles with Matt Wood earlier on at the start of the race, but he's got quite a ways to go. Excuse me there, a little bit of a frog in my throat. A little bit of a ways to go before you have to get up into 5th position with Nuno, but John Stevens is behind him, and he's got himself a little bit of a comfortable spot. John Stevens has himself a little bit of a comfortable spot as well. He's up 2 positions from the start. He's over 4.5 seconds behind Philip Lake, but he's over 6.5 seconds behind the next driver in line, which we'll find Jamie Hall. Jamie Hall's up 3 positions from the start, putting on a pretty good show here today. Very good, consistent show out of that UK and I driver. One of those guys I think we've seen on our cameras just a handful of times, and sometimes the quiet days are the best days.
Adam, sorry, trouble on screen. Our leader, Juha Norlampi, trying to get around Nick Kamensky. Kamensky almost takes the nose off of the leader, and boy, those were tense moments coming down the hill. Juha had to basically get on the brakes, practically stop the car in the middle of the track, and to catch it on the replay as we ride on board with him. Coming down the hill here, Kamensky is going to it's going to be in the line and then closes the door here on our leader as he's trying to get through the turn.
Exactly what Noralampe doesn't want to see. That very well could have cost him just about everything. So that also helped almost wipe out another second off that lead. So Noralampe and Ante, that gap continuing to dwindle as well. All right, so we were at 7th position, Alex Millward at the time when we had to break away from that real quick. So we'll pick that back up. Alex right now started in 11th position, so he's actually up about 4 spots from where he started, and actually just sat his fastest lap of the race so far, his personal fastest lap of the race here so far. So he is ahead by about 1.3 seconds, or excuse me, behind 1.3 seconds from Jamie Hall. So if he keeps on setting laps like that, he might be on Jamie Hall's rear wing here before too long as well. Close moment there coming out of turn 11 with that lap car there. All right, so next up we'll find Nicola Kochi, who we understand just had a huge moment just a moment ago and actually ended up losing a little bit of ground to Alex Millward. He's down 2 positions from the start, and with the last lap there, you can see just how much of a difference there. All right, so something happened to Noralampe. We've going up front here, Sean.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick it up right now, but Noralampe definitely was off pace there for a moment. Trying to find that now here. Not exactly what happened. Not exactly sure what happened. Looks like he might have just made a mistake. Sometimes the best do flub it up just a little bit, and Nuno loses a significant amount of time. That gap now less than a second. Or I'm sorry, Nuno goes to the lead as a result of Noralampe's. Noralampe now back a second from Nuno Moreira, who's now taking the lead of this race.
Yeah, it looks like when Joha went off, Noralampe went off, when he came back on the track, Ante ended up having to take evasive action in order to miss him, and Nuno used that opportunity to get by both of them. So that's exactly what your 2 finish drivers did not want to see, is now Nuno is pretty much going to be out there all by himself, and he was setting some of the fastest laps of the race at the time, so he has a good chance here to run away with this thing.
Yeah, you're going to see it coming down the hill. Nuno has trouble there, gets off the circuit, and Ante Lepisto going to be able to get by, and Nuno Moreira goes to the lead, but Noralampe with the big trouble there, and that mistake cost him. He's got some ground to make up now, and Lepisto really, really close. We got a real battle for the lead now. Coming through the lap traffic here. Francois Demers trying to do a good job of staying out of the way, but he's going to slow down. Going to slow down Lepisto. Lepisto going to lose a lot of ground there.
Yeah, so that what we're looking at here now is looking at about a second and a half gap going back between Noralampe and Lepisto. But that definitely changed the dynamic of this race, as that gap between Noralampe, as you mentioned, was able to kind of open up a little bit between him and Nuno. So these guys are definitely now have every reason to try to fight tooth and nail here. Is now Lepisto, who needs to try to do some of his own magic to be able to try to catch up with Nuno.
Boy, Covisto almost getting run into there by Nuno Moreira. Moreira getting around to the inside. Contact between the two. Moreira, Noralampe. It ends in tragedy down there. Lepisto has to get on the brakes all the way right down there in the hairpin. Let's go on board with Lepisto in this replay, Adam.
Yeah, things go from bad to worse for those front runners up there. You're riding around with Lepisto right now, running in second at the time. And you're going to see here is he's going to come down the drag strip. They're going to head down to turn 7. And remember, turn 7 is just a little bit of an apex, but as he goes down the front apex, you see that ended up being Noralampe that ended up getting into it with a lap car, ended up sitting sideways, and once again, Lepisto has to be hard on the binders to avoid a wreck.
And Noralampe back in the lead, but with serious damage to the left front wing of that car. Hot pursuit by Nuno Moreira, who has rear wing damage, both of those cars. And Noralampe is off the track. Oh, and here comes Lepisto. Adam, the battle rages on. Now, Nuno back up to the front. Nora Lampe in chase. Here comes Lepisto. Nuno, Adam, I got to be honest, Nuno is going to have trouble in the flat-out high-speed sections. Going to be downforce, going to be a little bit of trouble with the wing being bent up as it is.
Yeah, for sure. And then these guys now, all the downforce is kind of taken out of it. I do know that we have some Matthew Molnar fans and Johan Bodedecker fans out there, and they just had hard contact just a few minutes ago as well. But I don't want to take away from this battle from the lead too much, as you've got your front three vehicles all running nose to tail thanks to those incidents that have happened here over the last couple of laps. And now, the Lotus 79 being very aerodynamic as far as dependent. Now seeing all three cars have at least a little bit of their aerodynamics taken away from them.
Yeah, all three running with some battle scars right now. But you know what, Lepisto doing the smart job of just hanging right now, because the way Nuno and Juha have been mixing it up today, I think Lepisto is content to sit here. Just keep them close and wait for that opportunity with now just about 10 and a half laps to go as they make their way around the circuit.
So, here we go. Now we're kind of getting into the last third of this race, just coming down to 10 laps to go here next time across the stripe. And, everything has changed here over about the last 5 laps or so. So, and now we're going to be paying attention to seeing, who can catch who and everything else. But Nuno so far out front, but remember, he has that rear wing damage. And now Nora Lampe is going to be looking to try to capitalize on that. And don't forget, we still have Antti back there as well, sitting in third, who I think that right now Nora Lampe might be more concerned with trying to keep Antti behind him than possibly trying to get around him, and catch Nuno at this point, as he's got his hands full as they go up through 1 and then into 2. That tight right-hander going into 2. Antti is right on his rear wing. Yeah, that might be a pass that you might want to try to set up for turn 7 here in just a moment.
He's panning for gold right now. Antti looking for that chance, but the Leger Gitans team is currently 1st and 5th in this race. John Stevens up to 5th from his 7th starting spot. But Lepisto, who were the man on screen and we're riding with, giving hard chase to Juha Nora Lampe. Up to the leader, Nuno Moreira. I don't think that rear wing damage is affecting him as much as I thought. He was able to turn the fastest lap that last time around. Not the fastest lap of the race, but he is still able to turn 119s. And, man, if he can just stay on point here, hit his mark, we might. But Lepisto closing now, trying to pull off that move.
Yeah, Nora Lampe ran a little wide there coming out of turn 10, and that just kind of upset everything. But then, of course, ended up pushing Antti a little bit wide going through turn 11. And we mentioned you need to have a good line there going through 11, or you lose all that momentum. And you can see what that momentum costs him, about 0.5 of a second for going into that corner on his rear wing. But Nora Lampe right now doing everything he can to be able to keep Antti behind him.
Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if Nora Lampe is starting to struggle a little bit with that wing damage, the lack of downforce. He has been, he struggled through the S's the last couple times through. And, as the race goes on here with just 8.5 laps left, we'll have to keep an eye on that. That time loss there could really, really help Antti Lepisto out and get that second spot on the podium.
And, of course, lap traffic has definitely played a role in this race, and the leaders are coming up on Francisco Gutierrez here in just a moment. That's that blue and red machine that you see out in front of your leader, Nuno. So these guys coming up on a little bit more lap traffic once again. And, of course, either that's going to help or hurt Nora Lampe and Antti's cause to be able to try to get back up to the front of this race.
Yeah, and you said lap traffic being a factor. Gutierrez, they catch him in a good spot. He's able to get through the turn before them and get out of the way. Our top three get by clean and get to work on going back up the hill again. And their next car in front of them will be Matthew Molnar, who's they've still got a couple seconds to catch him, and hopefully they'll catch him in an advantageous spot when they get there.
All right, so right now, looking at it, we're looking at Nuno right now running 19.9s, and the two guys behind them, two Finns, going to be chasing around about 0.4 of a second on that last lap. So already, once again, battle for the lead, trying to get even tighter here. Matthew Molnar is the car that you see there letting them by. He knows that there's a really tight battle for the lead going on right now, but it's these Lotus 79 races, it's pretty nice when you can fit your podium all into one shot right there. Haven't we seen that before in a lot of races at Sonoma? All your top three guys all weaving their way through.
Yeah, Nora Lampe with a huge shunt, too much curb, off into the tire barrier, ending his race. Oh, he was coming out of the S's, the last right-hander gets way off to the left, too much curb attack there, and it's really going to upset the car. He makes the turn here into the S's, Adam, as we're watching the replay now. He'll be the last left-hander where he gets in trouble here.
Just a little bit. Looks like that those left sides went just past the curbing, grabbed that dirt, and that's what threw him off the side and into the tire fence. So Nora Lampe's day is done. Now it's going to be up as far as carrying the flag for Finland. It's going to be Antti, who is going to be right behind Nuno here. Does he have enough time to try to catch him? He was 0.3 of a second faster than Nuno that last lap, but of course, as you know, catching him's one thing, passing him's another. And he does have enough time to get back up there at that rate, but does he have enough time to be able to complete that pass?
Boy, and everybody move up a spot. Didn't expect to see that mistake, but maybe the curse is broken today. Nuno Moreira up to the lead, and Antti Lepisto not far to go. They got it under a second. And I'll tell you what, Antti Lepisto got to be feeling pretty good about his chances right now. A little bit faster on that last lap as we come around to complete another. We'll see exactly with 6 to go how much Antti Lepisto has left in that foot.
Well, he's got to have a little bit more. He's still a little bit faster, although not as much as Nuno, but still right there. That gap now down to about 0.4 of a second. You see it right there on your screen. Philip Lake is not in contention unless something happens with these two. He is not in contention right now for first or second, being about 17 seconds back behind these two now that Nora Lampe has fallen out. So right now the battle on the racetrack is actually for the lead with only about 5.5 laps to go here, we'll call it. Heading down the drag strip, going down toward turn 7. That lap car in front of them, I believe, is Robert Simpkins. Look for him probably to get out of the way here before too long, but no, actually he's going to be in the double apex here, turn 7. Not a good place to let people by, but going through the S's can get a little tight. You saw what happened to Nora Lampe just a minute ago. There they go around Simpkins, both of them able to get around him cleanly, and on the exit of the S's, there we go. Antti's right on the rear wing of Nuno. Nuno almost cuts him off right there. Yeah, Antti is hungry. Antti has the power. Does he have the time to make this move work?
Tell you what, Nuno Moreira with a big move there, a big defensive move on Antti Lepisto. I think Lepisto's got a better car left here at this point. Lepisto, look for him to make several more attempts to get this done. 5 laps to go. I think Antti Lepisto is the man to watch. I think he can pull off this pass on Nuno Moreira. It's just going to take him probably every bit of these 5 laps to get it done.
Well,
now, more lap traffic is going to come into play here. They've got another one in front of them. It's Mark Muckey looking to earn a bear claw. We'll see how well he handles these leaders as they get to him.
And they'll eventually also be catching the two battling cars of Pablo Suarez and Timothy Dalton here in the next lap or two as well, as they are not too far behind Mark Muckey. So now we'll start to see battles on the racetrack end up mixing up here before too long. And That's one of those times where you have to watch out as leaders. If you come up on traffic that's already battling amongst themselves, they might not give you the room that you would normally expect. So, maybe Ante will try to use that to his advantage when the time comes. But here they come down to turn 11. Ante taking a look. Nuno kind of drives a little bit of a defensive line, but he also sees that Mark Muckey is going to be giving him room there going through the corner. You see Mark Muckey run wide and just lets your two leaders go by. So your next two lap cars are the cars that are fighting right now for 11th and 12th. Going up through turn 1 into turn 2, you see Nuno kind of driving a little bit more of a defensive line going through there, trying to do his best right now to hold back Ante. Ante falling back to about 0.3 of a second, but you can kind of see the accordion effect going on in that time. Going down now into your turn 5 complex here, end up into turn 6, and eventually going into the drag strip here in just a moment. So turn 7 is probably the next best chance to make that pass.
Yeah, and you know what? These two cars that they're coming up on, they're in a battle of their own. Okay, Pablo Suarez and Timothy Dalton are battling for 11th, and these are big spots. Okay, they don't just get out of the way. They have to keep racing against each other. There's no time left to lose here with a little over 4 laps to go. You know what? This is going to be intense here because despite the damage Nuno and Ante have picked up, these guys are still flying around this track.
Yeah, you saw Ante put some wheels off there in the dirt, maybe a little bit nervous there for a second. But turn 11 here, once again, they're just going to run nose to tail going through there. Looks like Ante's kind of trying to cut that corner just a little bit more than Nuno. Maybe just trying to investigate to see how his car handles doing that if he ends up having to pull this off, maybe on the last lap going down the line or something like that. But these guys are now down to 3 laps to go. You see Ante running a little bit wide there through turn 2, loses a little bit of ground to Nuno, and these guys in front of him, these lap cars fighting for 11th and 12th, Timothy Dalton and Pablo Suarez are getting ever closer.
Yeah, this is getting intense here. Lepisto's got to be careful here. He can't lose too much ground. We're running out of time. Oh, those two are scrambling in front of him too. This is going to get very, very tricky. Now, there may be an opportunity. Oh, and Suarez runs out wide into the dirt. Nuno gets by clean. Lepisto looking to the inside. Can't get by clean. Lepisto gets held up here. Nuno allowed to just skate off and into the distance. Wow. Yeah. Terrible break. Now Lepisto is loose all over the track in the S's. Can't recover. Tough break for Lepisto. That I'm afraid is going to be the end of that battle. Not enough time left to get this done. 2 laps to go this time by.
And the S's, unfortunately, is one of the worst places to catch lap traffic because there is, once again, just no room to let anybody by. And I think you're right. That might have been the end of that battle for the lead, as now they've got 2 laps to go. It's going to take a mistake by Nuno, I think, at this point for Ante to get back up there, and he still has one more lap car to try to work his way around here. So with that, battle for 7th is now the closest one on the racetrack between Nicolo Cocci and QC Clapp here, as it looks like Nicola actually ran about 4 seconds slower that last lap, so maybe a mistake by Nicola has allowed him to fall back into the grasp of Clapp, and now going to have to try to hold them off as these guys are heading to the line they'll get the 2 laps to go here for them. Flag stand, you see the flag holder throwing out the big old 2 sign, letting these drivers know just 2 laps to go left in this race. So that battle for the right there, separated by about half second. We don't need to go to it, but your battle for the lead now is separated by over 2 seconds. So things are definitely done up there.
Yeah, Nuno Moreira has no traffic to worry about. But the battle between QC Clapp and Cocci, a good one. Clapp was gaining and then had a little bit of trouble, and now Cocci really starting to open it up a little bit as he makes it to the drag strip here. Tough break for Clapp, but making one mistake after working so hard to get right up on the wing is now, unfortunately, I think out of time to perfect a pass on Cocci. Cocci holding down 7th.
And now, your leader has taken the white flag. Nuno Moreira up front now. That gap closed down between him and Ante down to about 1.6 seconds that last time by. But that is probably going to be too little too soon in order to be able to catch up to him. Excuse me, too little too late to catch up to him here before the end of the race. As they head down the drag strip for the final time, they're going down into turn 7. This is one of the better race points to pass. Look at that gap actually closed quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think Nuno maybe let off or something right there. You've got to be real careful about that. You do not want to give Ante a chance at you going into turn 11 here in just a moment. That you've seen many races lost there in turn 11, but that gap, wow, just when you thought it might be over, here we go.
Here we go.
All right, so charging into turn 11. Here comes Ante. Ante makes the move, sticks his nose on the inside. He runs tight around there, but he's just not going to have the drive coming off turn 11. Here comes Nuno to the stripe. Nuno wins at Sears Point Sonoma Raceway.
Wow, and I'll tell you what, he almost pulled that off. Timothy Dalton going to come across ahead of Pablo Suarez and take that 11th spot.
And Lake ended up coming across for a podium finish in third. Of course, he ended up on the podium in your Camel GT Series race that you might have seen here on GSRC yesterday. So good job on Phillip, having a terrific weekend. John Stevens is going to come home in fourth. And in fifth, you'll find Jamie Hall. Now, Nicholas Kochi and Alex Millward ended up having to hold off Alex Millward. They'll come across the line in sixth and seventh. Eighth position is going to belong to QC Lap. And then in ninth, Peter Konixi. And then in 10th, you'll find Oliver Turco. So that's going to be your top 10 here as soon as Oliver crosses the line here in just a moment. He's going through the S's right now, or coming out of the S's, excuse me, past that Gilligan's Island area, turn 11, and now onto the front stretch. And that is going to round out your top 10 as far as your finishing order here for today with your Classic Team Championship Lotus 79 race. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break. We'll come back with your finishing order. We'll be back in just a moment on GSRC. Well, a closely contested race here at Sonoma Raceway for your Classic Team Championship Lotus 79 cars. And coming away with the win, though, Nuno Morari coming home in first place. Second place going to belong to Antti Lepisto here today. Philip Lake with his, we've been told, his second podium of the weekend. He came home in the podium of the Camel GT Series race yesterday. Well, here we go again. Third place for Philip Lake. Fourth, John Stevens. Jamie Hall coming home in fifth. Nicola Kochi coming home in sixth. Alex Millward coming home in seventh. QC Clapp in eighth position. Peter Kaniski coming home in ninth. And Oliver Turcott in 10th position. That's all your cars also on the lead lap. Sean?
Okay, then we're going to go back to 11th, and that's going to be Timothy Dalton. There in 11th. All right, one lap down. Pablo Libera Suarez, 12th today. Mark Muckey, 13th. Going to go to 14th. It's going to be Robert Simpkins. Francois Javier Gutierrez, 15th. Matt Wood, 16th. Matthew Molnar, 17th. Hideki Koivisto, 18th. Francois Demers, 19th. Nick Kamensky, 20th.
And now to round out the rest of your field, some guys that found some problems, including a guy that ran up front a really big chunk of the race, Nora Lumpe coming in 21st, 22nd, Joachim Bodecker, Matt Carballo in 23rd, Steve Sarles in 24th, Martin Laguerre in 25th, Angelika Pavlovsky in 26th, Barry West 27th, and to round out your field, Stian Svensson in 28th position here today. Okay, so we do have our winner coming in for an interview. Sean, go ahead and take it away.
Nuno Moreira, another great drive, but it doesn't come without a little bit of trouble, and working through traffic looked pretty tricky today. Congratulations, sir.
Hey, hello everyone. So yeah, I'm really happy. A win is a win, and this one was pretty exciting. I felt like a thief running away with my damaged car for more than half of the race, but it was really fun, very good.
Yeah, you were still turning really great laps. You were still able to turn 119s with that damaged wing. I guess it really wasn't. Was it affecting the grip on the car at all?
Well, it was, because the car was able to do 18, so I was like 9 tenths to 1 second slower, but still I think Antti also had damage in the car, so that evened things out a little bit, and otherwise I wouldn't be able to resist him.
Well, you didn't win the race previous to this one, and you win this one. I think that broke a streak that we had going where the winner of the previous race was winning this one, and looks like you've broken things up a bit, and this is also going to be a nice points day for you here in the championship.
Well, a win is a win, and to be honest, I wasn't planning to race, as I told you last week, so the weather was bad, so I came home to see the Grand Prix, the Formula 1 Grand Prix, and no practice during the week, and just turned a few laps, and the car was feeling very, very good. And so I said, hey, I'm going to try it, so I have nothing to lose. So I'm really happy with the result. It's completely unexpected.
Well, we're happy to talk to you on the podium again, Nuno. Anybody you'd like to thank today, my friend?
Well, let's thank the weather, as it was raining and I wasn't able to stay in the beach, so I came and raced. And thank you guys also, and everybody in the Lotus, of course. Awesome racing, awesome guys.
All right, hey Nuno, I hope you can make it back to the beach tomorrow, buddy.
I will try. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right. That's Nuno Moreira, our big winner today here at Sonoma. And Adam has caught up with Philip Lake.
Yeah, Philip, congratulations on your second podium finish of the weekend here. Of course, today's ended up being a pretty exciting second half of the race up in front of you, but it looked like your second half of the race was pretty quiet. Tell us a little bit about how your day was going. Philip, can you hear us? Okay. So, Philip, one last time, were you able to hear us?
Hey, listen,
okay.
we'll give Philip just a second. He had a little bit of trouble connecting to us yesterday, but Phil finishes third today. The UK&I driver started fifth. It was a solid run, and yeah, the trouble with Norlampi there at the end gets him up to third. But boy, what a solid day. It took a solid run through the field and having to deal with some traffic for Phil to get this spot. Phil, can you hear us, buddy?
Hello, is my mic working now?
Hey, we got you. Hey, Philip. Hey, I was asking your second half of the race. It was pretty eventful up in front of you, but back where you were at, it seemed like your second half of the race was pretty quiet, and you were just turning laps. How did it go for you?
Yeah, I was just trying to hit my own lap times. I knew I couldn't catch the guys up front. They're just sort of a different league, really. So I was just trying to keep a gap to John behind.
Now, you mentioned John back there and everything else. Now, the first half of the race, you having to fight your way through some traffic, and did anything catch your eye? Any exciting moments or anything else?
I managed to work my way through the traffic pretty well. I think John got held up a little bit at one point, which was good for me. So I took that.
And of course, you finished on the podium yesterday for the Camel GT series, and I will admit that I didn't get a chance to catch it. Which car did you drive for the Camel GT series, and how did that compare with doing that and then immediately turning around, coming into the Lotus 79 and trying to drive it?
Well, I drive the Nissan in the Camel GT, so they're quite similar cars. It's quite easy to switch between the two. So that helps with definitely working through the traffic.
All right. Well, hey, Philip, anybody you'd like to thank here real quick?
Just you guys for doing the broadcast. That's it. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate you as well, Philip. And you go out and have yourself a good rest of your weekend, and hopefully we'll be able to see you next week. So, Sean, how about you? Any final thoughts?
Hey, listen. This has been one of the best races we've had yet. It was a screamer, baby. A lot of fun watching that Lotus 79, getting around this track. A lot of fun driving the Lotus 79, getting ready for this race. I do love this configuration of this track. It's really the one everyone should run, in my opinion. But hey, folks, don't miss out. Don't forget to check out the Lotus 49s in just a couple hours here on the Global Sim Racing channel.
All right, and of course, you'll be able to see a few more races coming up here in just a moment. But we do want to thank all the drivers and teams of the Classic Team Championship, and putting on just a great show here today at Sonoma, and of course their decision to let us GSRC be able to broadcast these races. And of course, thanks always go out to the companies and equipment software that you have seen on your screen. Those always help us out with our broadcast. Also like to thank Eric Elcombe and Casey Lalonde for the music that you hear on our broadcast, and details to contact them are on your screen. And of course, you can always catch our races on our YouTube channel at Global Sim Racing Channel, but also find us on globalsimracingchannel.com and on social media at Twitter GSRC Channel and on Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel. So next week we stay in the state of California. We are heading down the coast a little bit to Laguna Seca, but for today, this is we've had Sean Ambrose here, Joe Peak behind the scenes, and course cameras by Dougie Beard. I'm Adam Young, and until we see you again next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.